Hello, welcome back to the Curtain Wire with Jared. I have on today Jack Swanson. Jack, thank you so much for joining. Jack is a opera singer, and I'm excited to talk about all the things music, Minnesota, and your new vocal health supplement. So,
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Jack, thank you so much for joining. Let's start at the beginning here. So, what inspires you to pursue music? Like, how did you know you were like, yes, this is what I want to do? And
Yeah,
how you
sure.
discovered your voice and everything? So,
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I actually grew up in Stillwater, Minnesota, and they had a really good choral program and just a really great community for the arts. And so growing up, I was always kind of involved in, the summer music theater things that they had going on at the high school. And I was always really involved in choir. In high school, I was still dabbling with, I played lacrosse, I played a couple sports, and then I actually had a knee injury that I was kind of like, you know what, I need to focus on something else. My body's not meant to do this type of this thing. So I really dove into choir, and in my junior year of high school, I was introduced to a voice teacher through my choir director and started working with him. And at that point, he was like, I really think your voice is suited to opera. So I started listening to opera for the first time when I was about 17, 18 years old. He told me to go back, listen to Pavarotti, listen to Juan Diego Flores. I have a bunch of old CDs that I was listening to at the time. And I remember sitting in my living room when I was maybe 17 years old, and I put on big headphones and I listened to Pavarotti sing Vesti la Giubba. There's a recording on YouTube. And I would just sat there and I called in my parents. I was like, guys, you guys got to hear this. And they were kind of like, oh, yeah, that's cool. They weren't big opera people, but
yeah.
they were like, supportive. And I was like, I want to make sounds like that one day. Like, that's what I want to do. And since that point, I've been pursuing that goal.
That is so it just amazes me when people, I don't want to say discover, but when they don't come to it until like later in high school, because like with like your talent and stuff, I'd be like, oh, he's probably like been singing forever, doing this forever, and then when I find out people are like, it didn't come to me until like later, it's amazing.
Uh,
So,
Thanks.
uh,
Yeah, I think opera in general, like I was always surrounded by music. But
yeah,
if you're not introduced to opera from either your parents or your grandparents
yeah,
or, like a friend who said, come with me when you're, and it's, if you're really not brought up with it, it's kind of a hard sell right away. I think
yeah,
you're not used to anything like it. And so for me, it was really the voice aspect that brought me in. It
yeah.
was like, wow, what they can do with their voice. And that was the thing that they were able to do that in was opera.
Yeah, so then your training then, let's talk about that. Did you like start voice lessons in like high school then, right? Like when you came into that, or and yeah, tell us
Yeah.
about like your
Yeah. So I
background and
started voice
training.
lessons. I started voice lessons when I was 17, 18. And then I ended up going to University of Oklahoma for my undergrad because my voice teacher in high school worked with the teacher that was in Oklahoma. And so I was debating a couple different schools in the Midwest mostly. And then uh, I got a call from the voice teacher at Oklahoma when I had already kind of made up my mind about another school. And he said, no, you got to do this. You got to come down here. You got to work with me. And so I went down to Oklahoma. I didn't know a single person in Norman, Oklahoma, other than the voice teacher I was going to work with. And it ended up being a really great experience. It was not only like a great music school and I had lots of opportunity there, but it was also just really good for me as a person. I needed to get out of Minnesota and meet new
Mm.
people and discover myself away from home, which is
Yeah.
so important, I think, for an
Yeah.
artist early
Yeah.
on. So I did my 4 years there, and then while I was there, I went to Siegel Music Colony, which is it's in upstate New York, and they do opera and music theater over the summer, a pay to sing program where you learn roles and kind of learn what it's like to be an opera singer. And then I went to Rice University for my master's in Houston, and I worked with Stephen King, who's a great voice teacher and has lots of very successful students singing opera all over the world. And yeah, so that was kind of my training process. I also went to Santa Fe Opera during that time in the apprentice program and did a few summers there, where I was in the chorus of shows and
Yeah.
understudying lead roles.
That's amazing. And so still kind of going back to like you starting like later on in high school. And for anyone listening, like the opera technique, the classical singing technique is very, 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 it's hard. It's
It's
very,
intricate. It's
yeah, it's
intricate.
very intricate. You can't just like take a lesson and just like what it's like involves like a lot of training,
True.
it's a lot more than your voice, it's a lot of muscle, a
True.
lot of anatomy, a lot of things go into it. So when you started that, were you like maybe your early on like lessons, were you like, holy crap, like do I want to keep doing this? I don't know. Cause like for me, I was like,
No,
ooh, this is
that's a very good question. Like I was never I always liked the work aspect because I liked being able to see those incremental changes, and
yep.
I liked like going back and listening to a recording a year ago and then trying the same thing a couple years later and being, wow, that's better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that part was fun for me, but I did always check in with myself each year and kind of be like, where am I really at in the grand scheme of how
Yeah.
this really works? I think it's really important to like, especially early on, be like, I might really love this, but is it going to serve my happiness moving
Hmm.
forward? Is it going to be something that I can live on full time if I'm choosing to do that, which can obviously provide a lot of happiness, but also provide a lot of stress if it's something
Yeah.
that's not doing that. So each year, I had really good, I mean, both my parents were very supportive, but also very like, be cautious, know where you're at.
Uh,
Don't keep pushing at this if it's not letting you in
yeah.
these doors incrementally. So I think that's an important thing for singers and artists and of anybody in the performing arts to really check
Yeah.
in with yourself early
A
on.
100%. Yeah, because you hear like commercials using like operatic art. It's just for more of like,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, that's what it is. But then you're actually like doing the training and singing, you're like,
No,
oh,
yeah.
this is a beast. This is
The
way more
public
than
facing, it's the big
yes.
joke. The big public facing opera thing is like, oh, you sing in Phantom of the Opera, or oh,
Yes.
you are trying to be Andrea Bocelli, or it's like, all no,
Yes.
all that's great. I mean, I love
Yep.
Phantom of the Opera. I
Yeah.
love Bocelli. Honestly, I think
Yeah.
like what he does and his is great, but opera is so different than that, and it's
Yes.
such a. I like to tell people that going to the opera is like going to a museum
Yeah.
compared to like going to a movie, which is more like music theater.
Yeah.
It's like they both are artists going up on stage, singing, putting on costumes, orchestras maybe, or music and dance and all of that. But
Yes.
the difference between the two could be compared to like going to see Van Gogh and going to see like a great new movie. It's just
Yeah. Yeah.
so you have to be prepared for that.
Sure. What was the first opera you saw live and like where was it at?
First opera I saw live, I was in. It was
Oh,
La
okay.
Boheme. It was La Boheme at Minnesota Opera. I was in the high school program there that they do, and I got to sing one little line. There's one little line in
Oh,
Boheme in the chorus. He goes, "Prugna di tu." He just gets this one little line,
yes.
and yeah, and so I got to like sit in the audience, and experience the show when I wasn't up there doing the chorus stuff. And yeah, that was really the first opera I ever saw live, and then since then I've seen too many to count.
Two
But
minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell us about some of the roles that you've played,
sure,
or some of the operas that you've been in, and then maybe some of like your favorite roles that you do, like
yeah.
top favorites. I'm sure they all have a special place for you. But maybe some of your top favorites, and then also some roles that you're hoping to still play.
Absolutely. So I'll start with the couple that I'm doing the most in my career. It would be Almaviva in Barbara Seville. I'm
Oh,
doing that
yes.
right now in San Francisco. I just did it in Houston. I made my debut in New York with Almaviva. So that's a role that's really followed me from the beginning and is going to for a significant time after that too. Cenerentola, which is another Rossini opera, which is similar in terms of voice to Almaviva. So a lot of the Rossini stuff I've done. The other roles like Nemorino, a
Mhm.
lot of the Mozart roles. Così fan tutte has
Oh,
Ferrante, which is a
yes.
great role
Yes.
that I love to sing. I will this year be singing my first Tito in Clemenza di Tito, which is another
Okay.
Mozart opera that's not super popular, but is a Really fantastic opera, and I'll be playing Tito in that in Barcelona this November. I also have sung Tamino in the Magic Flute, and I'll do that again this year, also in Barcelona at the end of the season. So those are a couple of the ones that I'd say I'm doing. Oh, Fenton and Falstaff, I've actually done
Yep.
pretty often. That's a Verdi opera that the tenor is not. It's funny because it's Verdi's last opera, but he actually wrote the tenor to be lighter than most of his other Verdi roles that he
Yes.
wrote for tenor. So it's a really nice introduction into some of those. But you asked which ones I'm looking forward to. It would actually
Yeah.
be eventually moving into maybe some of those lighter Verdi after Fenton, like
Yep.
Duke in Rigoletto at some point. In Traviata, I'd love to do in maybe 3-4
Yeah.
years. And then also just continue to keep hitting the bel canto operas. There's like so many. Puritani is one that I've
Yes.
really wanted to give a go. Continuing some of the Mozart things like Don Giovanni. I actually did Don Ottavio for my first role in undergrad, and I'd love to give that one another shot.
Yeah. Oh,
Another
yeah.
shot since that was 14 years ago. So
Yes.
those are just a few, I would say, for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Do you ever go back and like, well, obviously you probably do, like going back and listening to like old recordings of yourself, and how is like watching or seeing it? Like, how is that?
Yeah,
Or
every once in
after?
a while I'll torture myself by going
Yeah.
back and doing that. It's like kind of hard to find them now. Like I'd have to be like,
Yeah.
oh, and scroll. So it's like I don't have the
Sure.
time to even do that.
Yeah.
But every once in a while something will pop up, or I'll see something like on YouTube I posted 15 years ago or something, and be like, oh, I should listen to that,
Yes.
and just be like, whoa, I
No,
thought that was
yeah.
like actually pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
absolutely.
yeah, so it is fun though. It's fun to like go back and listen and be
Yeah.
like, no, I've made progress.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I also feel like I don't know, I would also do it too, and it would also be helpful for me to like kind of point out like things I need to still work on. I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't like the sound of that, or I just definitely still want to work
Yeah,
on for
yeah,
watching or like listening. I remember like doing that a lot too, and
yep,
but it is
yep,
also like hard for me. I'd be like, it was kind of like
yeah, yeah,
just like
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Do you have like a top favorite opera, just like even watch or listen to?
I think it's hard to compete with La Boheme. I mean, it's like everybody's favorite, but I just think the music, Puccini, the story, it's just one of the most moving operas. It's also nice that it's not so long
Yeah,
and it still
yeah,
packs a punch. So, I mean, I love La Boheme. I hope at some point in my career I'll be able to sing the role of Rodolfo. Right now, that's
yes,
not in the cards for
yeah.
right now, but we'll see. Maybe 10 years down the road, if I'm still doing this, that'll be
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can approach. Um, Other than that, I mean, I do think Don Giovanni is a masterpiece opera.
Yes.
I think that, like for Mozart, it's just
Yeah.
incredible music,
Yeah.
incredible story. I mean, not incredible story in the sense that it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
conflicting, but it's entertaining and
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you have a favorite composer and then also a favorite aria that you either like to sing? Maybe you already answered that. I can't remember, but if you like to sing or just listen to.
yeah, I would say kind of on this and going back to the other, like right now,
Yeah.
my favorite composer to sing would be Donizetti. I do, like Elixir, Daughter of the Regiment, and I would
Yes. Oh,
probably
yeah.
say that it's hard to compete with A Mes Amis. It's just so much fun to sing, and it's also the audience always loves it, and it's
Mm.
like, so that's
Yeah.
that's always a fun one to bring out and do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, aside from opera, I'm assuming you like to listen to other types of music just to listen to, or even sing as well. Do you
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
other like styles that you just maybe just enjoy just singing around or just singing and yeah, in general listening to?
Yeah, I would say, I tend to listen to like the oldies. Like I really like
Yes.
the Eagles, Chicago,
Oh,
Theater.
okay, yep.
And if I'm going to be singing anything other than opera or music theater, like that's what tends to fit my voice a little bit better than any of the
Oh.
more
Do
new
you ever
age stuff.
do you have recordings of that or like anywhere? I would be so
Not
interested to hear
not
like
really. I mean, I'll
okay.
be honest. I mean, maybe back from high school there were some, but I
Okay.
haven't really like sat down and recorded any of that stuff. It would be kind of fun to do
We'd
actually, and
love
even
to
if
hear
we did
it because
something
it's
on a recital or something.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I enjoy doing, listening mostly to that. And then I
Yeah.
also like singing a lot of music theater. It's like,
I was
it's
just
not
gonna
what
ask
I'm,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's not what I'm doing. It's not,
Yeah.
for my profession, but anytime I'm doing like a little concert, I'll throw, Maria, West Side
Oh
Story. I do,
yes.
Aldolfo from Drowsy Chaperone.
Yes.
There's
Oh
just such
yes.
great
There,
music
yes.
there. And so I love doing that too.
Yeah, so musical theater, and now I'm curious about that side of it
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like, I'm assuming you've probably done shows and played roles. Like, what? Tell us about that.
A few, but to be honest, like the opera world and the music theater world
Yeah.
have some overlap, but
Yep.
they tend to do more of the more classic music theater pieces, of course. So I
Yes.
I did get to do when I was at Siegel Music Colony, I did Toby in Sweeney Todd,
Oh, yes. Yep.
which was really really fun, and I loved
Yeah.
that role. It was just really fun to play, and I love the song "Nothing's Gonna Harm You." It's just a
Yes.
beautiful beautiful piece.
Yep.
And Sondheim, he might as well be. I wish that Sondheim had called his things operas, because like
Yeah.
they're just amazing the way that he is the modern day, to me, was the modern day great classical composer.
Oh, absolutely.
So I love doing that, and then I've done Candide a lot, which is an opera. I mean, it is.
Yes.
Bernstein did classify it as an opera, even though it has more music theater qualities, I would
Yep.
say, in the way that it's written and done. But those are really the only ones that I've done full music theater roles. I mean,
Okay.
I would love to do more, but it just kind of has to fit in the medium of what I do. So,
Sure. No, well, I was just gonna ask that. So, in the musical theater route, if you were to play some musical theater roles, do you have any roles that you would like to
um,
play in the musical
I mean, I'll
theater?
be honest. I would love anything in Les Mis. Any of those guys
Oh,
that
I
are
can
the
see that.
I
Yeah.
would love to do those. If in 15, 20 years I'm kind of going, I'm going to move in and I could do like a Valjean or something, it'd be amazing.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but no, I mean there are a lot, but I also know what there are things that I would love to do, but then there are also things I feel like, could I do that
Right.
justice? Like compared to some of the people that are doing it now, I'd just be like, yeah, I'm gonna leave that
You
to
could do
them.
it.
I
Yeah.
would love to do Tony and West Side Story. Like
Mhm.
people are casting those younger and younger, so I kind of am like, that's gonna happen. That's gonna happen soon
Yes.
if it's gonna happen. But I would love to do that at some point.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Light in the Piazza?
Yes, I would also
I was gonna
love to
say I could
do
hear you
those.
doing the role in that one as well, and that has
Yes,
beautiful
yes,
music in
it
it.
is.
So
It is beautiful music.
yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Sure.
So if I'm always curious too about this, if you were not doing like opera or singing as a career, like what do you think you'd be doing for a career?
It's a good question because I think practically speaking, I would find something still within the opera sphere.
Okay.
Like I am an artistic advisor for St. Croix Valley Opera, which is in Minnesota.
Yes.
I
Yep.
really enjoy doing that work, creating concerts, hiring friends of mine, but also just singers to come and do concerts for us. And
Yes.
eventually we're getting close to the point where we're going to be putting on full scale productions.
Wow.
So I do like that side as well, just kind of creating the things that I've been a part of the last 14 years. Um, just on the other side of the table.
Sure.
Also, like I've always thought maybe getting into like being an agent or a manager, I think that would be really fun to
Yeah.
do that as well, kind of build careers and get those artists doing the right roles in the right places.
Yep.
And then totally out there thing, I would have
Yeah.
loved to have been a marine biologist.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fascinating though. Yeah, I've always
If
intrigued
I
to
would
know
have,
like yeah.
yeah, if I wouldn't have gotten into the singing choir thing, like I was always just really into. I'm a big fisherman, but
Okay.
I just love the unexplored waters, just how much of that there is, and that's coming from somebody who's literally never scuba dived. I still
Yeah.
to this day like have it on my
It's on your
bucket list
list.
of
You'll get
things I
it. Yeah.
need to do, but
Yep.
that would be the thing that I'm like, oh, I'd really like to try that.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to talk about some Minnesota stuff here.
Sure.
Since Minnesota is such a vibrant state in general, just the performing arts and everything,
Mhm.
do you have any favorite venues that maybe you attended shows growing up or still attend here, or just any favorite companies in the area?
Yeah, I definitely major shout out to Theater La Ti Da because I've
Yes.
seen a lot of really, really great shows there in the last maybe 10, 15 years. Maybe more than that even. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's could have been 20 years ago I saw my first thing there. So Theater La Ti Da has been a place where I'm always like, if I'm in town, they're doing a show, I go and check that out. The Guthrie obviously puts on great stuff. I always would love to, like with my family, they always love music theater, so we would always go down to the oh, what am I? Where they tour all the Broadway shows.
Oh, the Orpheum.
The Orpheum, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I saw
Yep.
tons of shows at the Orpheum, and then obviously like touring shows that came through the Ordway too.
Yeah.
We would see those, but I would say that La Ti Da definitely was the one. If I was home for 2 weeks and they were doing a show, it's like that's what I'd want to go see because I
They do.
love the up close and personal feel.
Yep.
I love the artists that they get, the way that they do the shows differently than what you're used to
Yeah.
every time. So
Oh, yeah.
I'd give them the shout out.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any favorite, speaking of like, when you mentioned touring shows, do you have any favorite musicals that you recall that you've seen going through there? Just favorite musicals in general that you've
Oh
watched?
yes, one of the best shows I've ever seen was at La Ti Da, and it was Assassins.
Yes. Yeah.
That is, I'd never seen or heard anything from that show. I was just like going in on a whim, and I left
Yeah.
just like whole the singing, the music. I just was like obsessed with that show after that. I thought it was a, I mean, top-notch performances, but also just an amazing piece.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then what are just some of your favorite spots in Minnesota, the state of Minnesota, even if your hometown, like restaurants,
Yeah,
hidden
I
gems,
mean,
any shout
I
outs you
do
want to
love
give?
Stillwater. I'm giving a major
Yes.
shout out to Stillwater. It's just
Yes.
such a great town. I mean, I was so lucky to get to grow up there and
Yeah.
kind of experience one of those like gem small old
I
town
love
feel.
the downtown area. That's my
Yeah, it's
favorite.
just
Yeah.
it's beautiful. They've got good food. They've got fun stores. But it was just a really great community as well. Like, and especially in the arts, it's a great place. I would say I really like to go up to Taylor's Falls.
Yes, that's
In
great.
especially in the
Yep.
fall, like I love to hike and I love to fish and take a canoe out up there or go hiking through when the leaves are changing. I mean, I just think those are
Yeah.
things that you really can only experience up
Yeah.
there. So that would, and obviously going even further up into like Duluth or
Yeah.
I love going up to the anywhere near the Great Lakes is a win.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to a couple singing things here.
Yeah.
What the first thing I want to ask is what is your advice for maybe young and upcoming singers that either want to pursue like opera as a career or even music theater or just singing in general as a career? What's your advice for them? And then also how do you like take care of yourself as an artist? Because like
Yeah.
I don't think some of our listeners may not know about the like not only the singing aspect, but just the physical. There's a lot of aspects to singing, like taking care
No,
of yourself just
that's
as a whole, mentally, physically, the whole thing. So and then yeah,
yeah. That's a very good point. I would say the best advice I would have, especially for young up and coming singers, but I'll even go more specific to opera, is
yeah,
never think that you have it all figured out. The voice is just, first of all, your body's always changing, your voice is always changing. Every year, something is going to feel a little bit different. And if you're not constantly trying to find what makes it better, you're going to be going that way
yeah,
because you can't really do a standstill. It's like you can be constantly trying to get better and staying here, and sometimes that's good. Sometimes
yeah,
that's good enough. You're saying, but I think if you're not curious enough to all the aspects and limitations of your voice and trying to find that, I do think that you're doing a disservice to yourself because there's so much to discover, there's so much to learn, there's so much to question
hmm
when it comes to really perfecting, trying to, I shouldn't even say perfecting because it's not really possible, trying to perfect your technique.
Yeah.
So that would be number one. And then secondly, I would just say be a good colleague. You know, just
Hmm.
it's so easy to, I would say, like, this, the career is really stressful. So sometimes, you know, people that aren't treating people well or are acting whatever are normally hurting
Yeah.
themselves. And I understand that because the career's hard. And I think, you know, they may feel, oh, this life is just so unfair and this career is so unfair. And it's like true.
Yeah.
But most of the time, turning that and flipping the script and kind of taking it out on your colleagues or taking it out on the director or the conductor, it's just, you're adding fuel to that stressful fire.
Yes.
So take
Yep.
a minute, go, take a breath, realize all we're doing is singing and providing art to people. Like, yes,
Yeah.
there's so much involved in that, but it does not need to be so life and death. So yeah, my best advice would be those two things: keep searching to get better, and try to be a good colleague.
Yeah.
Those would be the best
Yeah.
two put together things.
Yes, great advice. Yes, yes. And we're gonna lead into your vocal health supplement here. So
Yeah,
into
yeah, sure.
that, like, let's talk about like how you take care of yourself as a performing
Yeah,
artist.
absolutely. So it's really important that the number one thing is sleep. I mean, you have to figure out how to be a good sleeper in this career. And that sounds crazy, but it's like
Yeah.
you travel all the time, you're in different beds, you're at different pillows, you're in different climates. You have different, I mean, there's so much. And if it's just something that doesn't come natural to you, you need to figure out what you need to get and what you need to do to find that. And I mean, for people, it's different things. It's like, for some, it's like, oh, if I'm just traveled and, you know, you stay on your phone too late, like, put that, plug in and outside. Oh,
Mhm.
your pillow isn't good. Go to Target, go to Walmart, whatever, first day, and find the pillow that works for you and buy it day one. Because without sleep, your voice isn't recovering, your body isn't recovering, your brain isn't recovering, and it's by far the most proven thing to do all those things. Second would be feeding yourself the correct foods. I really have a hard time with this when I'm on the road because
It's
I am not a great cook. I just know that.
I get
And
yeah.
I gotta find the places that if I'm not cooking, I'm not eating like fried whatever, because
Yeah.
I'm a Midwest guy. I'm a Minnesotan.
Yes.
Love those
Yes. I know it's so
burgers
hard.
and
Yeah.
fries. And so
Yeah.
you gotta treat your body well with food for sure.
Hmm.
Tons of water, as you can see, like during this interview.
Yes.
This right
Yes.
here alone is how many? What, 1,000 milliliters? I go through, like, even on a non-singing day. Like right now, I'm in between shows. I've got a show on Wednesday, but I'm not actively singing today, other than a couple warm-ups. I'll sing. I'll drink 3 of these
Yeah.
today, maybe 4 by the time I go to bed. So tons
Yeah.
of water, and yeah, I mean, those would be the big things that on the road I you also can steam. Obviously, if your voice is feeling tired, or before the day before a show, I'll just put the pot over the stove and steam my
Yeah.
voice. You know, it always, if anything, it makes you know that you've done all that you can.
Yes. Yes, for sure. For sure. Tell us about your vocal health supplements.
Yeah,
Let's hear about all
absolutely.
about that.
So all of those things are even more important than the vocal health supplement
Yes.
I'm doing. I mean, the supplement is awesome. I've used it myself for the last year. Essentially, I'll talk a little bit about how
Yeah.
this was formed,
Yes.
but vocal health. We when I first started this vocal health supplement, the first thing I said is, no pill, nothing you take is going to fix your voice, is going to
Sure.
fix your singing, is going to perfect your technique. When I first started this supplement, I had so many messages come in from people I didn't know that are like, so if I take this, like, will my high notes be better? Will my high note? And
Oh yeah.
I'm just being honest right up front. I'm
Yeah.
like, no,
Yeah.
that's not how this works. What this is for is because as singers, we are vocal athletes. And just like athletes, just like football players after a Sunday game, they need the next couple days to recover, and they need to do ice baths, and they need to stretch, and they need to cool
Yeah.
down after games, and they need to, and all of that is so important. And so this supplement is for that. It's not for making you a magical better singer. It
Yep.
is for essentially taking during the show periods, during times where you're using your voice a lot. And I can kind of dive into a little bit of the science behind that. Essentially, I discovered this supplement when I was in Europe. When I got back to the States, I was like, I got to get a bunch of this with me because I'm always traveling and you never know
Yeah.
what's going to be, where you're going to be, pharmacies. And it was just like ridiculous cost to get it shipped to the States. And I called up my friend Blake and I was like, hey, what do you think it would take for us to just make exactly this? And that took a long process. You know, we went through a
Yeah.
lot of different, calling different manufacturers, seeing what we could use, seeing what's
Yeah.
allowed by FDA standards and all of that. But in the end, we came up with something that is almost exactly like this thing that I've used. I also like bought each of the individual ingredients, which I can tell you are bromelain,
Yeah.
serapeptase, and papain are the proteolytic enzymes, which I know sounds like a crazy word, and I've learned so much about these now. But essentially, what they do is they block the bad proteins that happen in your body that lead to swelling. So swelling in the voice is kind of our downfall when you feel like, oh, I've sung a lot today. The next day you're kind of feeling, ooh, my voice is tight. And it is that way for a reason. You know, the swelling is there to protect you. But if
Yeah.
you sing on swollen folds over and over again, either because you're using your voice too much or you're using your voice inefficiently, that's what can lead to vocal damage. And so the other thing with this supplement that I've been saying is it is not a everyday supplement. People think of supplements as I wake up in the morning and I take my vitamin C and I take my this is, and not that it's dangerous either. I just want to be
Yeah.
clear. It's
Yeah.
very safe stuff. It's been tried and true. We have everything on our website that talks about each of the ingredients and how they work. And essentially, this is to be used when you are in performance mode and when you only have those couple days to recover and to kind of rest your voice in between shows. When you're feeling like, I'm a little bit more thick
Yeah.
than I'm used to. And I won't bore the audiences with all the details of what each of the things do, but if you do go to our website at vocaliseshop.com, we have a science section that kind of talks through each of the ingredients, what it does, ENT research for a few of them that have actual placebo tested versus the
Oh.
ingredients, and that there were great results with a lot of the ingredients in our product. So I'm really excited about it. It's not something that I ever thought I would do,
Yeah.
but it's just something that was so helpful to me in a period when I
Yeah.
was in Europe that I was like, there's no reason why in the States we shouldn't have access to this type of
Yeah.
medicine. And in Europe, you know, it's funny, it's like a joke among opera singers when they go to Germany, they bring an extra suitcase to bring back these type of products
Yeah.
because the States just has been completely missing on that.
Yeah.
And so we are technically the only vocal health supplement designed for that in the States. So we're
Wow.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be really exciting. We're gonna get product this August. It'll be finished. We're doing pre-sales right now. And obviously, any questions you can reach out on our
Yeah.
Instagram at Vocalise Shop, and we can answer any of those.
Yeah. So, I know I'm sure it was a long process to get this going, as you
Yeah,
mentioned. So, like, how does it feel to finally have it, like, just out there and ready and accessible for people, like, in the US? And also, like, people other than singers can use this product. Like, who would you yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. And like I'm a singer, so I'd like my community is that, and so we've been like
Yeah.
obviously first starting with this, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be our goal is that anybody, my singers or my sister is a teacher,
Yeah.
and she has said for years, like a lot of her colleagues, they talk all day, they teach, and they go,
Yep.
and a lot of them don't even have voice training, which I would
Yeah.
also recommend for any teachers that are struggling with that. Like, go to a speech pathologist, go to a teacher to kind of teach you how to use your voice better. But she was like, this is something that would be so nice because there are times where they feel like, I feel like my voice is starting to go
Yep.
home, take this, and then it'll help you get through that week where you got to show up and do
Yeah.
it. without having to really put your voice at risk with maybe steroids or ibuprofen or those sort of things. Because singers will every once in a while go, I got no choice, I got to pop an ibuprofen, and it's like, I'm
Right.
not saying every time it's a risk, but it's like a lot of ENTs have said that's not the way that you want to continue
Yeah.
your
Yes.
de-swelling process. So yeah, our
Yeah.
hope is that it gets a lot of attention through any voice users, anybody
Yeah.
who really needs their voice to do what they do.
That's so exciting. So yeah, because I was just like, yeah, I feel like this would be good for like high school, college students
Absolutely,
pursuing music, or just
absolutely.
anyone out that has to talk a lot, whether it's like a speech person or
Public
speaker. I
speak.
mean, yeah, public speaker, yes.
Voice teachers, they
Voice
use
teachers, yeah.
their voices all day, and they have to show wrong voice things. They have to show right voice. Your voice
Yes.
gets tired. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely a large amount of people that I think could benefit from
Yes.
this product.
Yeah. So for anyone listening too, like just like athletes, singers can also injure themselves in many
Absolutely,
ways. And
huge.
so
It's
this
a
is
huge
so
thing.
great. Yeah, so this is such a great this because like this is the first time I've like hearing about something like this too. So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
like this will
yeah,
be an exciting thing. I didn't know that was like a thing, and I didn't know they offered that, you know. And so I think
yeah,
it's gonna be
yeah.
so great
We're
and so
we're we're
exciting.
yeah, we're really looking forward to it, and we're already kind of developing new products. There's a lot of
Yeah,
things like I mentioned from Europe, like these products that people are like shipping back. There's just no reason at this point in 2026 why we should be having to do that. Like, let's make it right here. You can order it. Know that the
yes,
ingredients are, because that's another thing is a lot of people question supplements in the States, and I understand why. When we were first
sure.
starting this process, most of the manufacturers we went to were like, why would you do it? That's so much more expensive to make it that way. Why would you get it coated with the, like, people don't really know? And I'm like, so what they want to push is really cheap, not nice stuff that
Yeah,
people will just buy because they see the name or the gimmick. And like, we just don't have that in us to like put this.
yeah.
So we were like, no, like this is, we want exactly what this is. And they're like, well, that's a lot more than most people spend on their first product. And we're like, we want it to work.
We want to work.
We want it
Yeah,
to
you
work.
want. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. And how long the process has it been for you to like go from the starting point to all this
yeah,
to
I would say
now?
the idea came up maybe 6, 7 months ago when I
Oh
started talking.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, when I started talking with my friend Blake, and there were just a lot. I mean, we probably talked to 30, 40 different manufacturers because we
Wow.
really needed to find
Yeah,
the right fit for our
absolutely.
thing, and we ended up finding an excellent manufacturer in New York called Bactolock, and they have done a lot of similar products to this. And so yeah, it's pretty exciting. Another really exciting part of it is we're using a trademarked ingredient called BCM 95, which I don't know if a lot of singers use turmeric or curcumin for swelling, essentially. And BCM 95 is like that on steroids, essentially, in the
Oh,
good way.
okay.
It's a trademark ingredient where they used the essential oil from the plant and just the turmeric itself and kind of put it together. And it has tons of tests, tons of clinical studies that just show that it's a lot more effective than just a standard turmeric pill. So we're pretty excited to have that in there as well.
That's amazing. So Jack, as we wrap up here, where can people, I know you mentioned the Vocalise, but where can people also follow like your journey and your singing career as well? If you want to give it a shout, we'll also put
Yeah,
it in the
sure.
caption, but
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. I do a lot of just kind of follow along with my life on there. It's tenor verse wild. If you tenor underscore vs underscore wild, you can find me on there. That's where you'll get most of what I'm doing. And then my website is jackswansontenor.com, and that's where you'll find hopefully my updated schedule, which I'm working on right now.
yes, yes, no,
Just with
absolutely.
future performances and that type of stuff.
Yep, and then we gave the shout out to the Vocalise locate or website and
Yes,
everything as well.
vocaliseshop.com or Vocalise Shop on Instagram.
Love that. Did the name come to you like quickly, or were
You
you like
know,
tossing
we had a
around?
lot of different names, but in the end,
Yeah,
I really wanted to pair the actual, you know, vocalise in Italian
yeah,
is essentially a warm up or a
yep.
scale that people use to get their voice healthy. And I was like, come on, that's not only super classy, but like
Do you want to
let's
give
use
us a
that
do you want to
name.
give us a sample?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, if you go on Instagram, I
Do
have a
you?
challenge going on this week where people are singing a vocalise. So if you want to
Okay.
join
Yeah, I
in,
was gonna say if
check it out.
anyone, yeah.
I did post
Okay.
mine on there, and yeah. So vocalise, and then also obviously the play on words vocal ease.
Yes.
We're you know giving it a go there. So
Totally makes sense for all of it.
yeah.
So that's amazing. Well, Jack, thank you so much for joining
Thank you.
today. And then we'll when we have this up, we'll have all the information in the caption as well. And then
Great.
yeah, we'll hope to see you back in Minnesota.
Looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, Jared.
Thank you so much.